What's up, y'all? Toya here, and I am back with another video for y'all. Before we get into the video, make sure you guys either like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Alright, y'all. So another day, another DoorDash settlement. Yep, we got another one, y'all. We got another one. So this settlement is with the city of Chicago, and I wanted to go ahead and talk a little bit about some of these details and give my thoughts on them. So as always, the full article will be linked below if you guys want to read everything in its entirety. But we're gonna go ahead and go through a few points in this article. DoorDash to pay $18 million to settle Chicago lawsuit over alleged deceptive pandemic business practices. The city of Chicago announced an $18 million settlement Friday in its 4-year-old lawsuit against DoorDash, alleging the food delivery service engaged in deceptive business practices during the pandemic at the expense of customers, restaurants, and drivers. The August 2021 lawsuit filed in Cook County Circuit Court alleged DoorDash leveraging soaring demand for delivery by marking up menu prices, listing restaurants on the platform without consent, and adding a $1.50 Chicago fee to every order in response to a city-imposed emergency cap on commissions. Yeah, and I don't know if you guys remember a couple videos, I put that screenshot up when I was getting charged the Chicago fee, and they never really provided an explanation as to what that meant. It was just like, hey, you were in the city, you got an additional charge of $1.50. And this was a little bit before I started working from home, so I still use DoorDash a little bit. So I think maybe, I don't know, it wasn't too many times, maybe 10, 15 times if I had to guess, I was using DoorDash when I was still going into the office for lunch. Now, the whole thing about having restaurants on the platform without consent, that still kind of baffles me, because how will a person go to the restaurant and be like, hey, I got a DoorDash pickup, and they don't even have DoorDash listed on the I'm still kind of baffled about that personally, but hey, they did it and they was going ahead and getting their money. So yeah, under the terms of the settlement, DoorDash will pay $3.25 million to restaurants listed without consent that are still not on the platform, and issue $5.8 million in delivery and marketing credits to those that have since joined. To compensate eligible Chicago customers, DoorDash will provide $4 million in credits for food delivery orders beginning January 28th. So I guess I'll go ahead and give me a little something. Maybe I can go ahead and get lunch. You know, it probably ain't gonna be much, maybe $10, $15, $20 max if I had to guess. I'll be surprised if it's more than that. DoorDash will also pay $500,000 to drivers delivering food orders in Chicago as of September 2019, when the company ended its practice of using tips to subsidize driver pay. And they already had a suit about that and they settled. So yeah, that's nothing new. That's not a lot of money. $500,000 to the drivers in Chicago. I mean, I don't know how many drivers there are in Chicago specifically, but yeah, they might get $2-3. Honestly, it's probably not going to be too much. While not admitting wrongdoing, California-based DoorDash, the nation's largest food delivery service, said Friday it has ended the practices cited in the lawsuit, including eliminating the Chicago fee, ensuring all tips go 100% to the drivers, and removing all non-partner restaurants from the platform. I still never understood that thing of like, oh yeah, no, we didn't do nothing wrong. We didn't do anything, but we're going to end the practices that you guys are suing us. You know, we understand y'all suing us because we did this, so we going to stop doing it, but we didn't do nothing wrong. Like, oh, okay. I still, that still gets me, I swear. And they also mentioned that there is a separate lawsuit with Grubhub as well. So I have to do a little bit more digging on that, but it looks like it's pretty similar, the deceptive business practices, as they say, during the pandemic. So, but yeah, that's pretty much that article. Like I said, if you guys want to read everything, it will be linked below. And yeah, my thoughts. Well, you know, it's nothing new. Like I said before in my last video when I was talking about the last DoorDash settlement. That wasn't going to be the last one, and this one is not going to be the last one. You know, these apps, you know, I really don't get why people defend them so much. You know, they're great for convenience, sure, but I feel like a lot of these companies have gotten away from that initial vision. It's all profits, 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 and it's at the expense of everybody, the customers, the restaurants, the drivers. Everybody's getting screwed over. And you know, it's a shame. So I personally haven't used DoorDash in probably like 6 months. I think the only time I used it was when there's like a restaurant that's not on any other platforms, and then I have to default to DoorDash. But usually, if I can help it, I'll just go ahead and get my food myself, or I might use Grubhub. I got Grubhub Plus through, I think it's through Amazon, if I remember correctly. I can't remember, but I got the, you know, free delivery, so I take advantage when I can. But yeah, no, it's like I said, this is not gonna be the last one. That whole Chicago fee thing, that was crazy. Like, still, they never really explained what that was supposed to be. And to do that at the height of the pandemic, when everybody was ordering, like, these apps were already at their peak during the pandemic. And to take advantage of that and then try to increase your profits even more, bro, that just screams greed. and I don't know. But yeah, these apps, they have definitely gotten away from their original vision. Like I said, that convenience for the busy person, and just being that in between for like restaurants, you know, for local, you know, mom and pop shops, for instance. You know, to get them out there, to have them be more accessible to other customers that might not be able to get to them. You know, I get that. And then, of course, for the drivers, you know, you have a way to make some extra money. And it's funny that, you know, some of these things, some of these practices, you know, these are things that I had actually talked about, and it was 2 videos I did. It was a 2-parter. And it was pretty much about like the psychological warfare when it comes to gig apps. So I talked about it with the customer perspective and the driver perspective. So if you guys haven't seen that, I highly suggest that you check those out. But it's just a shame how, like I said, we've gotten away from that original vision, and everything's money, 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 money. And just some of the things that they do to trap you and keep you coming back, and, you know, making you feel like you don't have a choice but to come back. But, you know, we as people, we really gotta start taking a look and seeing like, okay, is it really worth dealing with these apps? And that's why for myself, you know, I don't usually mess with food delivery apps that much. You know, you guys see that I do mostly catering. I'll do Spark, Amazon if I can. You know, it's just not worth it. Driving like 10 miles to get $5 is just not worth it. I know there are some people they're able to go ahead and run it up, make bank, but after everything is all said and done, like, if you really, really look at it, are you being finessed? Because 9 times out of 10 you are. You might look at it and be like, oh, look, I made $200 on DoorDash and Grubhub and Uber Eats or whatever, blah, 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 blah. But then at the end of the day, how much, you know, money did you put into your car as far as the maintenance you're going to have to do later on, the gas you got to put in, and just the headache in general? Sometimes it's just not worth it. It's really not. And like I said, that's just on the driver's perspective. As a customer, you spending all of that money, man. All of that money for subpar service. And that's not a shot at the drivers. I mean, there are some drivers that do the bare minimum, not gonna lie. But at the same time, there's a lot of things that aren't necessarily in the driver's control. And the customer, they're the ones that they feel it, you know. Whether it's the order being late, you know, they're being bundled up with these other people that probably aren't tipping, and then you tipped well. You know, it's a lot to it. It's a lot. And then you just paying just crazy prices for no reason. So DoorDash, and Grubhub, Uber, all of y'all. So yeah, but that's pretty much it. So yeah, city of Chicago got their little bit of money. You know, Chicago has its own. That's why I don't live in the city. It's too much craziness going on between politics and whatever. So I'll stay out here in the suburbs. Not to say that it's better out here politically, but you know, if I had a choice, I'm not gonna go ahead and live in the city. But that's just me. So yeah, but that's it, y'all. That's enough yapping. I would love to know what you guys thought about this article, and let's do something a little different. Let's do something a little different. Who do you think is gonna be the next, I don't want to say city because that's extremely specific. I'm trying to think, do I want to say who's gonna be the next like city, maybe not city but state? That's kind of specific too. We could do it a couple different ways. Let's just say, when do you think there will be another DoorDash settlement? Because it's coming. This ain't the last one. When do you think there's going to be another DoorDash settlement? Let's just go by a month time frame. So do you think it'll be in the next 3 months, 6 months, a year, what? And maybe you could say a specific city or a state. Maybe if you know there's like an ongoing lawsuit going on, you know. Let's just figure out who and when. Who's gonna be the one that has another DoorDash settlement? Because like I said, it's coming. So I don't know. They have the ongoing Grubhub one in the city with us, so maybe that'll be the next one for Chicago. Are there any suits in like Texas or Florida or anything like that? I don't know. Maybe Cali, because it's California based. I don't know. I'm just throwing stuff out there. I'm just yapping. But let me know what y'all think. Let me know when and who you guys think is going to have the next DoorDash settlement. Because like I said, it's going to come. It's coming. It's on the way. So let me know. And again, let me know your thoughts on the article. And just let me know in the comments. Now, before I go, I have to remind you guys to leave a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you do not miss a video. But I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to catch you guys on the next one. And as always, stay safe out there and keep grinding.